Hello everybody, here we are with the next episode of this series. First of all, we have changed the server on which we are playing. This is because this other domain, trapgame.com, has different servers available at the same time with different speeds, and when one server is offline because it's restarting, we can play on another one and we don't have to wait. The problem with the last one was that I had to wait like 1 day after the server has ended. I have to wait 1 day until the server restarted, so I could not go ahead and program and continue the project. So I have changed the domain name and other parameters in the configuration file, so that now we point to this domain and this particular subdomain. So let's take a look at the code and I tell you what are the changes that I've done from the last time. First of all, I have restructured a bit the project. So the idea is that now we have a bot object. We have a bot object that controls an empire or multiple empires. In order to control an empire, you use a browser. This is what we first called the session management or session manager. So this will take care of making the right requests with the right session cookies and the right headers. With this architecture, we can control multiple empires. That means multiple accounts, and we can control them using apparently different browsers, meaning that each browser can have a different parameters, such as let me show you configuration. Here we have some user agent, accept language. We can choose different user agents for different browsers, or we can choose also different request delays for different agents for different browsers. Okay, so this will be the new architecture. For now, we don't care about handling multiple empires, but the architecture is done such that when we finished with by setting up this structure, we can easily add multiple accounts, and in the end we can also test maybe multiple accounts at the same time. For example, playing with 10 accounts at the same time. Okay, let's see other changes that I've made. I have set up the logging functionalities so that everything is logged to this single file, logs.log, in the data. And of course, everything was done with the help of Cursor AI. The function that does everything, the file that handles the logging, is this one. It was written mainly by the AI, so yeah, I didn't invest too much time understanding all the part of this. I just know how to make it work. We log everything in this file, and if you take a look at this file, we also see where do the log row came from. For example, this one comes from travianbot.session. Okay, so we know where to go to look for it. This was called session. After that, I think we called it browser. So travianbot browser is this object here, browser. As you can see, in this row, when we initialize a browser object, we associate to it a travianbot.browser logger. So every time we log anything, for example, selflogger.info or debug or warning, we will see a row in this file, and so we understand what is the problem if we have any problem, so it's easier to debug. Okay, logging apart, this part is kind of finished. We don't need more than this. It's doing enough. Let me see what other things we have. We have the bot. Okay. So the bot will control one or multiple empires. the empire will have the villages, and the villages will have the fields and the buildings, etc. And then I have started configuring some tests, meaning that I would like to be able to test if everything is working properly. For example, the login is working properly, the parsers are working properly, the bot creation and village creation is working properly. So in order to do this, I have created all of those test files, and I can run all of those tests with let me see, PyTest. No, I think we have to go to this folder, tests, PyTest. Session manager. We don't have a session manager anymore because we have modified the name. So we have to refactor the code. Okay. Please refactor all the code in order to substitute the old session manager with the new browser object. Especially in the file conf test, but also in all the others. Okay, so yeah, I have changed an object, but I didn't refactor correctly everything else. So now the agent will take a look at the whole project and make the necessary refactoring. Okay, we let him do his job, and then we'll take a look at those tests. For now, I just started to set them up, but yeah, we'll finish them maybe another time. Okay, let's take a look at the other thing. I have added the section parsers, where I can add some parsers. Right now, I have added this part. Okay. I have added this session. I will rename it session underscore parser later. I will have to think about a naming convention. So what I did here was create some functions so that I can identify if I am seeing the Dorf1 page or not. So this function will take in input a HTML string that will be this same page that we are seeing right now. For example, when we go to the Dorf1 page, we see some elements on the screen if we are logged in. We have to find an element that is unique to the Dorf1 page and that we will see only if we're on the Dorf1 page. For example, if we would have to choose this icon, it's not unique because I think when you go to Dorf2, you see the same icon. Also the hero image, we could use something about the background because as you can see here in the Dorf2 page, you see some these click areas maybe. Village map. I think village map is something you don't see in the resource. Village map. Yeah, I think you... Oh, you see it also here, see? So you have to identify a unique element. What I have found is that when you switch between Dorf1 and Dorf2, you see this circle changes color. What happens in the HTML is that you have this this element, an anchor with class space active with href Dorf1 and access key 1. This element is unique to this page, and when you go to the second page, right now we're in Dorf1, right? So Dorf1 have this particular string, while Dorf2 has this other string, but as you can see in class you don't see the word active. When you click on Dorf2, you have this other string. The active attribute is set to the active class is set to the to the anchor corresponding to the dorf2.php page. So those are the strings that we're looking for. Okay. So in this function, what we do is we take the all HTML content, that means this whole page that we have right here, this whole HTML, and we search for this particular string. For the dorf1, the string should be this one. Okay, active dorf1. If I don't find it, let me see. If I didn't provided any HTML content, of course, I return false and this message. Otherwise, I return true if I find it. And for the dorf2, the string that I need to see is this other one, class active. Okay, so those are some parsers that I will use in order to understand if I'm logged in and if I can access correctly these pages. If my bot wants to go to the dorf2 page and this check fails, it means that something has failed. Either the session is not active anymore, either some code has changed or the front end has changed and the parser is not working correctly. But I know and I can go here and fix it and understand what happened. In order to be able to troubleshoot things even further, the browser object is using a proxy. So whenever you create a browser object, you must specify a domain on which the browser will play, the session ID with which the browser will log in, the headers that you want to use. In our case, the headers are those one, user agent and accept language, so that the server will think that we are actually a Mozilla user agent, because otherwise the requests library that we're using would use something like a Python request library header, so the server can easily understand that we are a bot and can ban us. And then we can specify a proxy. This means that all the requests that are made by our bot will go through our proxy. The proxy is the same one that we used to send the request of the browser to, and it's Burpsuite. So right now we have Burpsuite set up. Okay, with those proxy settings, we are listening on port 8080 on localhost, and we are listening for requests both from the browser, when we will specify Burpsuite here, and also for the request coming from our bot. For example, those are requests that came from our bot. So it's very easy to understand what went well, what went wrong. We can see everything that we sent to the server, and if something is odd, we can see it from here very easily. We don't have to dig into the code and maybe use the debugger. Okay, so this is something that will be very useful in troubleshooting, the fact that we are using a proxy. Let's go on to the tests. So we are in the tests. So with PyTests, we should be able to run the tests. Okay. So those are the tests that we run, and we can see if everything is working properly. Right now, a lot of things are not working properly, of course. But yeah, we can see the coverage of everything, of the part of our code that we're covering with those tests. And let me see, we have some problems. Oh no. Let me see, I think I will upgrade to Pro, but maybe later we will see the problems that will arise. Okay. So we did only one test and we passed it. Okay. only one. Why did we do only one? Let me see. Tests, conf tests. Test login. Courage. So yeah, we have to understand how those tests works better later. Okay, right now I don't think I'll use them very much, but in the future I need to finish setting the tests up. So whenever we do major refactoring of the code, we just run the test again and make sure everything is working properly. For now, since things don't work yet, the tests, I mean, we can postpone the test for later. Okay. Okay, so we will use the test later. We have some parsers that we might use to parse some data. And we can try to test some things. The thing that I was testing, I think it was this one. No, this is the test login that's inside tests. I was playing with this. So I have set up the browser. Okay, the browser is using the proxy. And I want to make sure the browser can communicate correctly with the server, can send the requests, and I can see the DORF1 page and the DORF2 page. So I create a browser. For now, I don't want to link all the objects together. For example, the bot to an empire to a browser. I want to develop those objects separately and then merge them all together once I have tested that they're working well in the standalone mode. Okay, so first of all, I create a browser. I log all this information, and then I test the status, and I check to see if the browser is logged in. What does that mean? The browser object, as you can see, in the initiation method, he will execute this function, check login status, and it will be true or false. So to check the login status, the browser will go to the DORF1 page, check the code, and make sure login is not in the URL. This is usually because if you don't successfully log in, you will see login word in the URL. But we don't want to use this. We will want to use our parser to understand if we are on the DORF1 page. Okay, so the browser will need to use the session parser, and instead of checking the response status code, that's always 200 also when you are not logged in, we will need to check the HTML of the response. So here we want to modify this code, modify the code in order to use the parser for the DORF1 that is inside parser/session. Okay, let's see how it goes and if it's still working. Okay, let me try this other way. So right now we're in the browser. Modify the code. This. He uses the lines 78, 68, 71. That's so nice. Modify the code in lines 68, 71 and use a parser and use the parser for the DORF1 in parsers session. Okay, let's hope he understands. Okay. He's working. Okay. So he modified this a bit. Verify login status. Okay, he imported this from the session. He imported the verify login status. I don't know if it's what I wanted to use, because verify login status is this one. I didn't check this entirely, verify login status. It takes an HTML content as a string and check for login form. Okay, I understand, but this is not something that I wanted to create. It was created by the agent. I want to use instead something like this, verify DORF1 page. Browser. So this function have to check if I am logged in or not, right? So in order to do this, you have to make a DORF1 request and then in the response check for some strings. So modify that again. And use this function. Okay, let's see if I understand it now. Okay. So we are in the browser. Right now we are working at the browser. Okay. So yes, we want to read the response.txt. That's the HTML content, and we want to apply this function to it. That's perfect. And of course, here we import this function. Let's recap. This function takes the HTML content in input and returns is valid, true or false, and an error message. In our case, we are watching for this particular string. Okay. We are watching for this particular string. If we find this, we will return true. And we know that the browser is logged in and the session PHP session ID is working correctly. Okay, let's go back to our test file. That was this one. Okay, so we create a browser. We provide a domain, session ID, the headers, and the proxy so that all the requests will be sent to our proxy. We log some data, browser instance created. Then we test the login status and we watch to see if the login was successfully done. And we log this information. Otherwise, we log failed to login. Perfect. Then we do this thing. At this point, this is kind of useless, but because we do the same thing in the function that sets this value. Anyway, here we use the browser to get the dorf1 page. If we get a response, we actually log this information, we log the length, and then we check to see if we got this page correctly. Okay, then we check to see if we can reach the dorf2 page. The same logic applies. This time we call this other function verify dorf2 page to see if we get this page. And we log the results. And in the end, we get this function that tests a post request that don't make any sense. The agent made this up. Okay. Yeah, he's trying to build something to see if it's working, but we will test this later, not right now. Okay. And then we have this except that is linked to this try. So in this test browser functionality function, yeah, we do a try and then expect browser functionality tested failed. Okay, let's run it and see how it's going. Okay, let's clear everything. Let's clear also the log file so that we see better the results. And let's clear all of those requests. Okay. Delete selected items. Okay, that's perfect. So we run this test again. And let's see what happened. So we can see those information also in the log directly. So it seems like we have created the browser instance. Okay, we're using this proxy, starting HTTP connection to this server. We make a GET request. That's okay. And then we get an error at this point. Login status check failed. Expected string. This is the string that we were looking for. Okay, and it was not found in the dorf1 PHP response. So this is the problem. Okay, why is that? As we have seen here, whenever we go to this page, if we inspect this tile, we have this precise string, right? So we should see it. Okay, now let's see what the proxy have seen and if this string is present in the proxy. Okay, this is the request that was caught by the proxy. This is our request to the host that we have selected, to the dorf1.php page with the session cookie that we have set up. And this is the server response. If we go to see class active, we see that there is an element that have class active href dorf1 php access key 1, but we have also a title. We have this title, and in our browser we don't have that title. I think this is a problem due to the language that we're using. Maybe by using some languages, what you see here can differ. All right, so it depends on the language you are using. So in order to, I don't know why I cannot reproduce this. Okay, I think it's something linked to the cookies. We can improve our cookies. Okay, so in order to see what are the cookies that we send while we play normally using the browser, we can just enable Burpsuite. All the requests are going through Burpsuite, and we create this request. accept the risk and continue. Okay, so I have made some requests. That's perfect. I disable it. Again, let's go back to the Burpsuite. So those are a lot of requests that were made by the browser. These are the requests that are made by me. And in order not to see all this garbage, I go to the target, scope, advanced scope, and I add this host. Okay. I mean, I want this scope, but not only that scope. Yeah, actually, yeah, only that scope. Perfect. Mm -mm. So, as you can see, in this request, we have sent some cookies, language N, builder off. In this other request, we didn't send the cookies. So this is why he gave me this, because we did not send the language N. Now, what should happen is that when I click this, change the language into English, let me enable again the Burpsuite. So I go to the door phone page. Here I am. And right now I will go to select the change language to English. This is it. I don't know why it sets the cookie to language ru. And then after that he still gives me this this title, like title resource. So when I play the game normally, I mean, also now, only the first time I make the request, I send this cookie, language ru, and then I don't send it anymore. Okay, this is an odd behavior. It shouldn't function like this. Okay. I think it's because how the server handles the cookies. I mean, here the server tells me, please set the cookie lang equal ru. So for the next request, I should send this cookie lang ru, and I do it. Okay, so this columns means what are the cookies that the server imposed on me. I mean, the server tell me to do. Okay, so the server told me, please use the language equal ru in order to set the language to English, oddly. But that's how it works. Okay, so those are the fields that I use. Those are the cookies that I use when I play normally. So let's reproduce this. We copy this as they are. I would like also this other tick. This makes you see the numbers. And what this do is instead of builder off, I think it says the builder on. No. Okay, let's see those two requests. Okay, it sets this new cookie. T4 level equals 1. I think this cookie was set because I have clicked on this. So if I disable this and I refresh the page, maybe I will not see it anymore. You see, those requests don't have it. Okay, I want to use it because a normal player that is playing the game normally will usually activate it. Okay, so those are the cookies that I want to reproduce, whatever they mean, whatever builder of means and whatever Languru means, I want to reproduce all those. So I will tell my browser to use all of those cookies. When I create my browser, as you can see here, when I create the browser, let me see, test.py. Yeah, when I create the browser, I give a domain, a session ID, and the header Stravian bot. Right now, I'm taking those from here. So I will just add some new values, not only user agent and accept language, but also those ones. Accept language is something that we send anyway. Let's see. Yeah, accept language. We use this. Let me adjust NUS and Q05. NUS Q05. This is the preference for the English language. I think let's add also this one because this is the normal headers, the normal. Okay, this is something that I will add. I mean, ideally, we could reproduce everything from here. Everything that we have here. This is already present. Okay, referrer. Referrer means what's the page from which you are coming from. It's an indicator that you are actually a human player and you are using the normal browser. Let's add also those. By not having the right cookies, you might face different problems in the future. So it's better to use as many oh my god, as many headers as you can. Okay, let's put them all. Let's see what happens. Okay. And now, thanks to our friend, adjust the headers. Free user can. Okay, this is something that you use with the premium. Okay, I have to upgrade to premium. Okay, here we are with the paid subscription. And okay, this is the changes that he had done to our code. I'm okay with that. So we reproduce all of the headers that are in use that a normal user would do. Okay, so by using the same cookies and I mean the same everything that that a normal user is using, the same headers, I'm expecting to have the same behavior and receive the same pages. So let's try that again. Let's go and try. So this is the log file. Session browser. Where is the? Init bot misc. So I need the test.py. This is what we want to test. Okay. Let me. This is the. Okay. So let's cancel all of those. Clear history. Okay. Let's try this. I think there is a typo somewhere. Did you mean? Cannot import header Travian bot. Why can't you import this? The name have changed. Of course, there is an A here. Okay, now you should be able to do it. Okay, failed to log in. Okay, let's see the request. So, this is the request that, no, this is the response. And this is the request that I have made using the bot. Okay, so indeed, I did not send the session cookie, right? Because I think it was overwritten by this header, meaning that when we set these headers, this session ID is overwritten. Okay, because if we take a look here, let me see, request session. So, okay, so first of all, I do this. I do set session. I set the session ID to this value that's here, and then I feel like after this point I will overwrite this the cookies. Right, because in my request, as you can see, I don't see the session ID. The session ID is given to me by the server because I didn't provide any, but I need to provide the server with my own PHP session ID so that I'm already logged in. Okay, let me see. Self session ID. What is this? This is just a value. Okay. Where is this used? It's used here. Session cookie set. And I set a cookie. First I set the headers here, and then I set the cookie. I mean, somehow the request that is going out from the browser do not have this. So maybe this row don't get correctly executed. Maybe because I have set these headers and those have precedence. I mean, when I set this, here I specify everything, right? I specify the cookies here. And then I came here and say, use also those cookies. Okay, let me see if the agent can solve this. Okay, in a browser, lines 26, 32, I have a problem with the PHP session ID cookie. It is not set because at row 26, I set the headers in such a way that also cookie header is set. I wish to add the PHP session ID alongside with all the other cookies. Okay, let's see how he handles this. I understand the issue, perfect. Okay, so first of all, he canceled this row. Then he writes it again. He creates header trap and bot copy. So he creates a copy of this, and then he kind of iterates through everything. Then I think what he's doing, he's saving all the cookie values that I have, and he adds to those items also the PHP session ID. Okay. I mean, yeah, he's kind of splitting all the cookies. He's like destroying this all row, but he saves everything inside. And then he makes a for loop and he recreates everything. Language, Russian. Builder, off. Highlights toggle, true. He will recreate everything. Okay, see, here you see the for loop in which he uses self-session cookies set. He set the cookies in this way. And then at the end, he also adds the PHP session ID cookie. Okay, let's see if his method works. Okay. Let's see if it works. Okay, I want to test this again. And of course, we are interested to see if the next request that we make will contain, alongside those cookies, also our session ID cookie. Here it is. It contains it. Okay. So the code he wrote is good. Of course, the cookie is at the end. Maybe I was expecting this to be on the top, but I don't think this should influence anything. Let's see if he finds this. Okay, he finds this. Perfect. So now the request is working. We are logged in because this cookie is working. Now the problem is that the string that we expect to find is not here, because this string contains title resource. Okay? But again, this is something so strange, because when we are playing the game, this don't have that title. Maybe I'm thinking maybe this is the HTML that is received, but then this is changed by some JavaScript code that takes this out. In order to test this, let's add some extension. Okay, disable JavaScript. We're going to disable the JavaScript and see how we see things with the JavaScript disabled. Okay. Okay. Right now, JavaScript is disabled. I reload the page. Okay, I can go DORF 2, DORF 1. With the JavaScript disabled, let's analyze this element. Indeed, as you can see, with no JavaScript, this is what is received from the server. So actually, this is what we have to look for. Okay, couple outer HTML, and we have to modify our parser to look for this particular string. And when we go here to dorf2, we need to look for this particular string. So this is dorf1 page. This is dorf2. Okay, because these are the values that are provided to us by the server as they are. Then the JavaScript modifies them, and that's okay. Perfect. So if we see those values, it means that we can correctly see the dorf2 page. Otherwise, if we don't see them, it means that we're not logged in or something is wrong. Because as you can see, if I delete the cookie session ID and I try to get the dorf2 page, this is what I see. This is what I see. So here I don't see this string. I don't see dorf1 active access key2 village. Okay, so right now I think it will work now. Let's try it again. Now there is a problem. What's the problem? Okay, run. Okay, verify login status. Cannot import verify login status. Who is trying to import this? The test is trying to import verify login status. Of course, it's not. It doesn't exist anymore. Okay, the test has failed. Verify login status has failed. Let me think. Let's take a look at the logs. So what happened here? So successfully retrieved dorf1. We get a response length. We have a little bug because we see this log 2 times. Okay, we will fix this. Then dorf1 content verification successful. That's good. It becomes we have found that string. Then browser functionality test failed. Okay, this is travianbot.test. The name is verify login status. That's not defined. Okay, that's okay. Here it is. What is that? So get dorf1. Okay, here I verify to see if I can successfully see the dorf1 page. Then verify login status. This is the same thing. So I don't need this. And then dorf2. Okay, I make the request. Then I verify the dorf2 page. And I don't need this. So I just make 2 requests to verify if I can reach the dorf1 and dorf2 page. Let's run this again. But also let's try to understand why I see the logs 2 times. Logs, cancel. Let's run this. Error, browser functionality failed. Let's see what failed here. we have some red here, SSL, that's no problem. I don't know why the error is green, it should be red. Browser functionality test failed. But DORF2 PHP, the content verification was successful. So where does this come from, this error? Browser functionality test failed. Why do you think this? Because you matched this. Because you do this. You do try test browser functionality. If not browser, you log this. Well, actually, should this return something? No. Because this returns something. Okay, but I don't need it to return anything. If response, okay, so I make a request to get the page 2. If I get a response, I do some things. This is where I should return true, because it. Otherwise, I return. Okay, yeah, I just need the return. So if I get a response, I do some logic. Otherwise, I return none. But in the end, I should do something like this, yeah, as he suggested. I return the browser because I have ended my test. And I return a browser, but yeah, actually, I don't care about that. The important thing is that everything is working. And then our function will return the browser. And then in this function, in our main function, we will not reach this point. So yeah, no, everything is working fine. Everything is working fine. I can do just this. That's it. Nothing more. Okay, so our main function will be just. This is a comment. We don't care about this. We just logger info start main execution, and then we activate this function, test browser functionality, test the browser functionality, and everything works fine. Let's see if we still see the double logs. Okay, logs. Yes, we see the logs 2 times. I don't like it. Let's ask our friend. Why is this? In the log file, I see duplicate rows. Why is that? I don't need. Okay. I need just one entry, the one with milliseconds maybe. Okay, let's see if he knows why this happens. Connection failed. Because there are multiple handlers configured for the same logger. Okay. What's that? Yes, because in this file we create a basic configuration. We create a logger. Okay. But then we have a logger also here in the init. So I think we have two loggers. Remove all existing handlers from the root logger to prevent duplicate logs. Root logger. Okay, yeah, so I think he's doing some checks to see if there are other loggers. Let's see if now things are better. Yeah, definitely we should centralize the definition of the logger and the format of the logs. Okay, let's try it right now. Everything is completed successfully. The log finally don't have duplicates, but okay, successfully retrieved. Response length, verification successfully, browser. Okay, so we have a working browser. Our browser can make requests, can make GET requests, and can make POST requests. It can set cookies and use cookies. It can set and use a PHP session ID cookie. And most of all, most importantly, he can use a proxy so that he sends all of the requests through our proxy so we can see what's happening. That's so important. Now, for the next video, we will go on and program the empire. So the empire will have the villages will have the fields, the buildings, and they will work together. I mean, the empire, in order to upgrade the buildings of a village, he will use the browser. Okay, they will work together. First, I will test the creation of the empire and of the village, and after that, I will test their integration so that they can communicate well together and they can work together. Okay, thank you guys. See you at the next video.